they taking a knee for something that stand for something. They might not win that one game, but they standing for something. That's going to help people in protest. Power to you, my brother Russell. Power to you. Now, let's talk about the goodness of the Lord, the New York Giants. And so, look, I walk by faith every day. My quarterback closes his eyes when he throw the football, all right? So I believe in God for everything. But y'all excited? I'm excited about the NFL season. I am. I don't play in no fantasy leagues. It's too complicated for me. My brain don't work that well. You got draft and all that other kind of crazy stuff. But that's a lot for me. That's a lot for me. But I enjoy the NFL season. Now, you know what the goal is, though? To get you to worship God more than you worship football. Amen. See, now ain't no praises now, And I just crushed their little joy right then and there. Your football team can't put you in heaven or hell, but you show support them, don't you? You buy the jerseys, you get the sneakers and all that. Like, I got a little Giants pen, you know what I'm saying? Ain't going to get me into heaven, though. But I like it. Cost me $7 on eBay. You know what I'm saying? Then I found out it should be worth $2, but that's another story. We get stuff to celebrate it, do we not? So I'm going to say enjoy your football season, but don't enjoy it more than you enjoy Jesus. How about that? All right? All right? All right? Listen, there's going to be time for some of y'all to need prayer and worship because we know your team ain't going to the playoffs. But at least you got to watch them play on Sunday. All the high school kids, make some noise. High school kids, make some noise. I know you're trying to be smooth. Look, there they go, trying to be smooth. Any IC Northam students in the building? Huh? I ain't say people over 40 that went to IC Northam. I said student. I didn't say alumni. You know what I'm saying? Y'all terrible. Y'all terrible. I went there. Now, listen. This year's basketball programs at IC Northam, what's the other one? Churchland, Wilson. Somebody had to throw Wilson out there. They got a basketball team? They're like, oh, you might be right, but I'm not going to repeat what you just said. So I want to encourage you, students, man, to enjoy the year. Really give God the full all of you. Still be fun, still have swag, be lit, as they say. I don't know where y'all get these new words from. Have y'all heard the new one, sauce? Some rapper says sauce. I said, what flavor are you, barbecue? That's a new thing, sauce. I said, sauce. First of all, the music that you kids, I'm praying for y'all every day. Because y'all listen to mumble rap. Sound like nursery rhymes for grown folk. I'm a me believer. I'm a self-a-vida. He's without a cheetah. Let me get a cheetah. And none of this stuff go together. Let me get a cheetah. I had some Doritos. I was at the Fritos. And they be sitting there like, and I'll be like, you dancing to that? And then, like, no. If he doesn't make any sense, you should not dance to it. But that's your generation. Your generation a little different. You know, when a grown man does the nay-nay, it makes me uncomfortable. Because there's something about a man doing his shoulders like, and then he see how I feel uncomfortable right now? And he throw his shoulder back like a female. Then he put his hand out like this. And then he just, hand. And then he put his hands on his knees like he's twerking. I was like, listen. And then his jeans be this tight. They're like, listen, that's not my generation. My nay-nay is like a thug nay-nay. I'm not moving no further. I love y'all, but y'all crazy. And then the young people get mad at you when you say most of the dances you got was stolen. I'm not going to go there today, but y'all need to stop robbing our stuff and claiming it as your own. You think you're doing something new. The Running Man, y'all just made it something different. Cabbage Patch, you made it something different. A little different from me, but that's your generation. I want to encourage you during the school year. When you do the nay-nay, make sure you do your homework. Okay? Okay? So when you write it, write it. Right? Okay. Yeah. Graduate. Hello. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't care if you dance. Just graduate down the aisle. Wow. Okay? I still don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but let's jump right into the word. Love thy neighbor, Romans, the 12th chapter, starting at the 9th verse. We talked about intimacy with God, talking about having a prayer life, being a deep relationship with him. But I want to challenge you this week on Love Thy Neighbor. How many of you got folk you don't like? Everybody should raise their hand. Don't even get the line. I ain't say love them. I ain't say you can love them and not like them. Some of you got cousins like that. You love them. You just don't like them. Raise your hand. Some of y'all gave a wave off. Put your hand down. About a nay then, wasn't you? But you got some people you just don't like. How many of you got people who don't like you? Oh, now you want to raise your hands? Terrible. You're going to have that. But one of the biggest challenges for us as believers is learning to love people in spite of how different they are and how they treat us. See, when you say you're a child of God, you embrace the beauty of the Lord. You say you love Jesus. You say he's the father of your life. He's the one who steers the ship. He's the one you base yourself on. He's the one you copycat. He's the mirror image and reflection of what he wants you to be. When you look at God, you should see yourself growing to be an example of who God is. And so when somebody says, love thy neighbor, do you really love them? Do you really care about the people that you're around? Let's read these verses here. It says, don't just pretend to love others. Really love them. Hate what is wrong. Hold tightly to what is good. Love each other with genuine affection. And take delight in honoring each other. Never be lazy. That's a word right there. Never be lazy, but work hard and serve the Lord enthusiastically. Watch this. You can be lazy on the way you love someone. You could do a half a job on how you love. The way you ladies, you're guilty of it. Your husband ever said, hey, can you make me some breakfast in the morning? And then you ain't asked for it before. Anybody ever been there before? Look, y'all got quiet, didn't you? And then he's sitting there with that goofy smile on his face like, please. And you're like, whatever. And then you make it, then you give it to him. But the way you give it to him is begrudging. Here you go. And why you got to roll your eyes with it? It's like they simultaneous. Here you go. And then he eating the breakfast, but he know ain't no love in it. He can taste it too sometimes, because you ain't really put no love the way you made it. But you ever had a good day? When you was on your P's and Q's, and you felt like doing it, and you did it because you wanted to. You put a little extra Old Bay on there, you seasoned it up, you chopped it up. You know when a woman made your breakfast the right way, it looked decorated. Man, y'all know what I'm talking about? When it ain't decorated, you did something wrong. If your oatmeal don't come with nothing on top of it, no brown sugar, no strawberries, no berries, no nothing, you need to ask questions. Are we all right? Are we okay? Why? Because that's the world we live in. Ladies, you know what it's like when your husband, you need to ask your husband for something, and the first thing he do is get an attitude, and then he get defensive and say, we can't get that. It's always dealing with money. Honey, we need to buy. Well, we don't need that. We don't got that. Sometimes I know my kids need clothes, and I get mad too. He got the same shirt. That shirt a little small on him. It come up to here, but if he pull it down, he'll be fine. He ain't got no job. I get upset. And then if I get a good check, go and get that boy a shirt. Go ahead on. Take care of him. How many been there before? Why? Because you get in a moment where you're looking at everything and you're overwhelmed, and then you have to get to a place where you realize it's not about you. Listen to this part, what I says. It says, rejoice in our confident hope. Be patient in trouble and keep on praying. When God's people are in need, be ready to help. Always be eager to practice hospitality. The first neighbor you need to start with is the people in your home. How you love your family is more important than how you love anyone else. How you love your family is more important than how you love anyone else. Because if you can't love them in your own house, you ain't going to love them in the streets. Ain't nothing worse than watching a parent cuss their child out when they like 3 and 4 and 5. And that's okay. That's okay. And then they get an attitude with you. I fail miserably every time that happens. I'm supposed to stick to the code of mind your business. But I'm not that person. Like, you little blah, blah. I said, how you doing, man? He looks like he about 3. I don't think he even knows half the curse words you say. This ain't your child. This ain't none of your business. I know, but he's like 3. And everybody knows you're cursing out your child. Well, I say what I want to say to my child. That's obvious. But the real question is, do you love your child? You know, I love my baby. Don't tell me I don't love my... You're using the F-bomb. It's free. You know what I'm saying to her? Your love is the first thing that this child gets. Your love is the first thing that this child receives. Your love is what's going to define how this child grows. Why would you want to use language that doesn't reflect the love of your child? We're all guilty of it as even married couples. We go off on each other and use profanity. I don't know why people act like they don't. We got into a holy disagreement. Right? Like, if you was cussing, it wasn't holy. I don't understand that. You know, you got in your flesh, you got frustrated, and you need to grow. Sarcasm is just as much as a sin as cursing. I hope some of y'all know that. Because some of you don't use profanity, but you like to get sarcastic when you talk. You know how you ladies do. Your husband asks you a question, and you be like, well, what you asking that for? You never really been able to handle that. Oh, but you tried. And then it's like, you take a shot, bow, bow. And then when he snapped, why are you talking to me like that? Well, you've been sarcastic for about the last 15 minutes, and now he's ready to go off, and you trying to figure out there's something wrong with him. No, you set it off, just like the movie, and now you're going to play dumb. What's wrong with you? You know what you're saying? My sin is better than yours. Well, I got quiet, ladies. You can't poke the bear and expect not to get mauled. I ain't say hit. I'm saying that crazy look again is like, you gonna keep pushing me? And you saying, what? I ain't doing nothing. That causes more confusion in the marriage than it does help. And most men ain't light on their feet when they get in an argument with you, ladies. I ain't gonna lie. We don't want to admit it at times because you become words and we trying to figure out what to come back with. And we like, you getting on my nerve. Then we start to yell and see, you don't know how to control your temper. No, you know how to be sarcastic with a bad temper, and I don't know how to be sarcastic with a bad temper. That's not love. That's flesh, wrapped up in eloquent words. I'm going to pray, and then I want to challenge you on this. Let's pray. Father, I thank you that you're going to challenge us on our love language. You're going to challenge us on how we love each other, how we treat each other, how we grow. No one in this room is perfect, but we all serve a perfect God. And so, God, as we are flawed, marred, scarred, battered, bruised, and broken, we got a God who can heal every wound that I just mentioned. So, God, work on us. Draw us closer to you. Look at the word love on the screen. Look at it. What does that mean to you? What does the word love mean to you? When someone asks you what love is, how do you define it? If you define it in your own way, it may be way that I'm only loving you if you're loving me back. I only love people I like. I only love unless you do something I want you to do. I only love if you look a certain way. I only love, like I love this hair color, or I love this guy, the way he dressed. I love this type of man, or I love this job, or I love this person. Look, but we're not talking about that kind of love. We're talking about an unconditional love, which is called the agape love, A-G-A-P-E, that God gives us. And that the love that he had for us, the love that goes on a cross and dies for your sins, knowing that you're going to continue to fail unless you're covered under the blood of Jesus Christ. A love that walks down the aisle and gets spit upon, beat and battered and bruised for people who did not appreciate, and then gets on the cross and says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Then not only are the person is battered and bruised, spat upon, crucified, then there's a person on the cross says, listen, don't forget me. And instead of just saying, not only am I not going to forget you, I'm going to allow you to enter into the presence of the living God. Verily, verily, this day thou shalt be with me in paradise. That's a God that has what we call unconditional love. Can you fathom someone being offended by you, knowing that you are totally wrong, and they say to God, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Can you imagine someone allowing you to lose it, slap them in their face, put your hands on them, and then they say, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do? Can you imagine you cursing someone out, and that person says to you, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do? That's love. And some of us haven't experienced that type of love because we live in a world where everything is so narcissistic. In other words, everything is about what you get and how you get it and what you have and what you're not getting from someone else. We live in a world where people are there are people who are so critical of other people because they're so empty and void of love. See, I know, this is what we do that I think is unfair to people. We get mad at other people for being critical of us, when the reality is the people who are being critical of us are the people who are actually lacking love. See, when someone has to tear you down to build themselves up, there's a void and an emptiness that's inside of them, that the only way they feel fulfilled is tearing you down. So sometimes when somebody's knocking, you should say, oh, I love you. It's okay, because you're not being loved. Now, I won't take away from there's some people who are just evil, but the majority of the time, most people who say mean and nasty things are trying to take away or deflect from the fact that they're wounded. Deflect from the fact that they're hurting. Why do you think, see, one of the things I want to help some of you ladies, let me use this as a great example, and we keep the word love up there. Let me share this with you, men. Women don't sleep with men, and they don't believe in casual sex. Women don't sleep with men. They will tell you, I'm just out here to have a good time. They're lying. The very nature of a woman is to be a nurturer. The very nature of a woman is to have relationship. The very nature of a woman is to be protected and cared for. So even when a woman sleeps with a man, what she is asking for is intimacy, protection, and love. And a woman will sleep with a man with the expectation of hoping that it will change him. But you can't catch a good man with bad habits. Hear what I'm saying? And then us as men, we over-masculate. We try to be as tough as we possibly. You know what I'm saying? I'll punch you in the face. Rah, rah. And inside they're going, I really don't want to fight, but I don't want to think nobody am a punk, and I just want to be accepted by all the violent people who are standing here. I mean, think about it. I said it before. I said it before. I say it again. There is something weird when two men can't go to the grocery store and not size each other up for no reason. I mean, this week was my last week of that. I said I'm gonna be overjoyous when I see somebody when they size me up. So the brother was like, I was like, hey man, how you doing? He was like, oh, what's up, man? You don't know me, do you? No, but you cool, right? Well, why? I'm changing the environment. See, the climate is dictated by my personality because I am full of the love of God. Why should I see especially us African American men? You cannot act like a thug and then want to be treated like a gentleman. Don't nobody want to hear that because we're not supposed to correct each other because we black and, black people, black from. No, I don't want to see you in the mall and then I'm getting the shirt, you getting the shirt, and you and I go, that's what I'm going to do. I did that the other day. The dude was like, yo, what's wrong? You all right? I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm just glad to see you, man. He's like, I said, man, you got to seem like you're a little frustrated. He's like, yeah, man, I can't seem to find the shirt I want. And then I said, hey, you ever notice that every time we as black men see each other, we always got to grill each other first? I was like, why do you think we do that? He's like, I don't know. It's just something that we do. You ever ask yourself why we do half the stuff we do? It's not based on love. It's called habitual habits. You see someone do something, and you mimic it. Association, you're associated with a group, breeds simulation. So if I hang with a bunch of, the next thing you know, and then we all walk around sizing each other up everywhere we go without any consciousness to why we're doing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ladies, you don't get off the hook. You can't keep saying there's just something about her I don't like. Then you snatch and grab. There's something about her I don't like. You don't know that girl. You don't know her from nowhere. You got an attitude about somebody you ain't never met. It is the most uncomfortable feeling to see two women grill each other. It's more scary than two men doing it. Because women don't say nothing. Y'all just make faces all day. And you're like, honey, are you all right? I'm fine. Oh, okay. Don't seem like it. Then you know not to look at that person because your wife don't like that person. You don't even know why your wife don't. Come on, man. Who wants to live like that? You understand what I'm saying, what we do to each other? Let me give you this. Since the love of God is unconditional towards us, we need to have the same towards others. If it's unconditional towards us, we need to have the same thing towards others. If I love God and God loves me and he died on the cross for my sins, he loves me with no conditions. There is nothing that I need to do to get the love of God. Why do I treat my spouse the same way? Why? Why do I don't treat my kids the same way? Why I don't love people the same way? See, some of you come to church just to critique the people that you see in church. You need to stay your butt home. If you don't want to grow, why go to an environment where you're just going to do this all day? When people coming in off the street, on drugs, unloved, battered, bruised, you don't know who's sitting in this room that's been abused by their spouse. You don't know who's sitting in this room that's been raped last week. You don't know who's sitting in this room that's trying to figure out how to love their children. You don't know who's sitting in this room trying to raise their kids. You don't know who's sitting in this room that lost a spouse, that lost a friend, lost a neighbor. I mean, we're not thinking like that anymore. When we come to church to evaluate instead of appreciate. Stop evaluating people. Because if you look in the mirror, you know you're just as broken as that person. We need to come in saying, I see that you need God's love, and so do I. Look, child, I ain't no better than you. I done had rough days too. I done lost it on somebody too. That's all right. God has kept you. See, some of the older ladies, if you start looking at her dress and showed her some of the photos of the dress you wore, she'd be like, God can do it for me too. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody wants to come to church and be evaluated all the time. I think one of the biggest challenges is to see someone the way that God sees them. And that requires you to be humble before God and let God expose who you are. See, you can never judge anyone else until you let God work on you. Matthew, the 7th chapter, says, get the beam out your eye before you try to get the speck out your brother's eye. But it also goes down to say that after you get it out your eye, you can say something. See, somebody delivered from lying could tell somebody when they're lying and they need to stop it. The problem is we say, oh, you lying. Instead of saying, you know why I know you're lying? Because I used to be a liar. To tell you one to know one, God delivered me, he needed to deliver you. You're fast. You're sleeping around, you need to get yourself together. Don't judge me, you don't know me. I used to be fast. I got myself together. Now you get yourself together. I ain't worried about you pulling your skirt down. I'm worried about you keeping it on. Because if you keep it on and you start growing in God, then it'll get longer. Let his imagination have to figure out what he going to get versus him knowing everything before you walk halfway down the block. How do I know? Because I used to walk and they would see me coming halfway down the block. When we get on these young men, oh, you just ghetto. You want to be a thug. How you know? Because I was a thug. I still got thug tendencies. God's still working on me. See, the way you just cursed me out, back in the day, we'd have been scrapping right now. But since the Lord saved me, set me free, and delivered me, I'm here to show you the grace and mercy of God, even though I want to bust you upside your head right now. You understand what I'm saying? There's this hypocrisy. Once we receive the blessings of the Lord, there's an arrogance along with the insecurity. Hear what I'm saying? When you get saved, your goal is to prove to everybody how perfect you are. When reality is, you're just as broken as everybody else. This is what I've learned in marriage. I argue with my wife, and I get frustrated to a point where I'm losing it. I've cursed at her. I'm not no sugarcoater. You can judge all you want. And then I'll go, what did I just get from that? Absolutely nothing. Then I got to come back and apologize. And you know, you women, y'all, love your wife, but y'all take a minute to forgive with some stuff, yeah. Babe, I'm sorry. Okay. And I want that sympathy forgiveness. You know the one, it's all right, come here, baby. Y'all don't do, you forgiving. And then you do this, like, get on. That is devastating to a man. Because you're like, baby, I'm sorry. That's devastating to a man. And then we as men get mad at you more because we're going, I just said I was sorry. Why won't you love me? What? We don't say love me. Or you going to say it like that? What we're really saying is, can you just hold me? Can you console a brother? See, because we don't want to admit that. That's called vulnerability. That's called true love. Because true love doesn't have to mask what it truly feels about the person that it cares about. See, love is so important that you give. My daughter is she's going to be 12, and she's rejecting me now. And I'm starting to struggle with it because she's been my baby. I'm like, hey, Julia. Hi, Daddy. I'm going to my room. I'm going to get a hug. Okay. It's like, it's not even a real. But then, if she's having a bad day, it's like dealing with her mother. She's like, you don't see me going through? You just not going to hug me? I didn't know. You didn't say anything. You're my father. You should know. And, oh, okay. And I relish those moments because that's my chance to be her dad. See, one of the things I'm trying to share with you is that we don't talk about enough is true love requires sacrifice. True love requires moments you don't understand everything, but you still going to be there. Sometimes your kids don't want you to say everything. They don't want you to fix it. They just want you to be quiet and hug them. My son JoJo's learning how to play football. He be messing up, making a whole bunch of mistakes, and he look at me like, I don't want another correction. I be like, hey, good job, buddy. Fist bump. All right. And I'm like, you really coming at me with attitude? I really could bust you in your chest right now? But I'm going to let you have this moment because you don't want me to chastise you or correct you in your sports. You just want somebody to be there for you even though you're not playing well or doing well. Come on, think about what I'm saying. We live in a generation where there is a lack of love and care and understanding for people. Christianity has gotten to the place where we spend more time critiquing instead of complimenting. So I'm correcting everything and critiquing everything you do instead of complimenting you. You know what? Sometimes you just want to come to church and get a good hug, get a good encouraging word. I don't know how you hug anybody's face, Shamar, but sometimes you might want your face hugged. I don't understand what that looked like. And I don't want no man face hugging my wife. I'm just sharing and caring at the same time, okay? I'm just saying, just throw that one out there. Hello. I'll give you a face hug, Sister Jackie. I got you. But you understand what I'm saying? You don't. See, y'all just gonna focus on that. I meant it though. Just serious. I'm just serious. So, y'all terrible. When you look at that aspect of the relationship, you have to ask yourself, if God's love is unconditional, how often do I share it with the people that I love? And if I say I'm a child of God, am I a mirror image of that love towards my own children, towards my own spouse? Here's the thing that nobody likes to say to us because it's very trying. You can't change the person you're married to. You can only change you. Only God can change the person that you're married to. That's devastating to men because men want to fix everything. And moms want to make everything right. Women want to make everything right. We both want the same thing. How we get there is different. And what we have to realize is that God is the one that works on. Let me give you this last point. It says, love should never start with what you are getting from it, but what you are giving to someone. I don't want to always feel like, as a child of God, that if I say I love you unconditionally, there is nothing you can do that can change the condition of my love for you. Listen to what I'm saying. If I love you unconditionally, there is no condition that can change my love for you. If you hate me, you like me, you get mad, we need to treat all our relationships like we treat our babies. Your baby will throw up on you, boo-boo on you. You got to change their dirty diaper. They'll scream for hours. You got to work on your patience. That's how you should love your spouse. Now, husbands don't boo-boo on you, but we do cry a lot. We do get frustrated. We do get upset. You know, I wish women would understand your love should be a place where your husband can whine. He should be able to come to you and be like, I'm just having a rough day. And it's all right, baby. It's all right. Now, inside you may think you're a grown man. You need to suck it up. But at that moment, he don't want to hear that. He want to be coddled. He want to be held. And there's nothing, and that doesn't make you a weak man. Male chauvinistic is the reason why so many men are failing in their marriages right now. Being an arrogant prick don't make you a good husband. Chastising your wife with a word that you can't carry yourself don't make you a good husband. Come on, man, say amen. I don't care how much money you make. You can't make priceless love, bruh. Not on a dollar. You can't buy that. Ain't nothing more romantic to a woman than knowing that a man will be here for her through thick and thin. She'll take a man with a good budget than a millionaire fool any day. Because don't nobody want to be around no man who every time he buy you something, it's an equivalent of his real love. You can't buy love. You can't buy love. If I had to buy love, my wife like a lot of stuff. I've been in trouble. She'd have been gone. Oh, that mercy. Oh, thank you, Jesus, for your. All right, sister. Money wasn't running like that. You know, I got a Ford Focus. She ain't balling. We got to eat. Got a dent on it. I give it to the valet like I'm balling. Here you go. Paid for. She ain't got to worry about a meal. Ain't got no car payment. It's love. It's love. Love will require you to do something for someone else even when you don't understand why they want it. Simple things. I'm the cheapskate in the family. I don't know if y'all can tell. I'm cheap. If my wife give me a list of something, I'm going to get everything half of what it is. She'll come back. She'll get like 10 cents off. I don't know what she's doing. Like 10 cents. I could have got $5 off you know. And then I remember us having an argument about her going shopping versus me going shopping. It had nothing to do with saving money. It had more to do with her having the right to go do something for her children because that's, as a mother, you want to go and take care of things for your kids. You know what I'm saying? Her math was off. It was way off. It was way off. But who cares? I had to learn that if it's going to cost us more money, she still needs to have it. She still needs to go ahead and do it. As much as I struggle with it, I need to release her to go do stuff for our kids, even though we can sell about $78.32. Not that I'm counting, but that $72.38 has nothing to do with me having a priceless marriage. Like, anybody have comfort food? You comfort food? Look, some of you put your hands up in shame because you know you ain't supposed to eat that right now. You're supposed to be on a diet. I got you. I like comfort food. I like to get a coffee cake and a Arnold Palmer, half and half. I came in the house one time, my wife said, how you going to go to the store and buy yourself a half and half and not buy nobody else none? Because I didn't want to buy nobody else none. I wanted to have me a moment where I drank a little 99-cent drink and a $1.74 coffee cake by myself. Everybody else get all my money all the time. You telling me I can't get a lemonade, half and half, and a $1.73 coffee cake for myself? Are you hearing what I'm saying? And we argue back and forth, and my wife said, you know what, go ahead, just have your little funky little coffee cake, a little half and half. She thought I was going to be mad. I said, thank you. Hey, worship. I come in, kids be like, Daddy's about to have his half and half of this coffee cake. That's right. I'm going to give me a half and half today. Sit down and watch the Giants play. And I ain't sharing my coffee cake with nobody. My daughter stand there and blink. You know, y'all women, that's code for give me some. I blink back. You ain't getting none of my food. I'm not being judgmental or being selfish. I'm saying let me be loved where I can have a moment to myself. I know all you jokers are going to college. I'm going to be paying for tuition. Can I just have a half and half? And a coffee cake. That's my love for me. So if you sacrifice that one area for your spouse, what you're saying to them, I'm going to let you have that moment because that makes you feel good. That makes you feel comfortable. I may not agree with it. I may not understand it, but that's what you want. And that's what we have to learn to do when we're married and we care for somebody. We should understand that love does not require that person to be perfect. It requires you to be understanding. And it requires you to understand that there are going to be times in your life with your children and your friends that you're not going to understand why they're a certain way, and you're going to have to be humble towards them and allow them to have that moment. The problem with most of us is we don't encourage each other to be free to be who we are. We want people to love them the way we want them to be loved, and we want to control it, and that's not real love. Real love is you allowing someone to be who they are and understanding if you don't want that level of commitment, just cut it off. Now, I want to encourage some of you younger couples in here. I know I don't talk about marriage far as dating a lot, but I do want to say this. It is a shame to tell a woman you love her and date her forever. I ain't going to look at nobody because I don't want nobody to think I'm in their business. It is a shame to tell a woman you love her and date her forever. Because what you're saying is that I love you, but not really. I'm committed to you, but not really. Or I want to be with you for the rest of my life, but I want out. And that's hard to, I ain't trying to put pressure on you. Some of you sweating already. I'm not saying you need to get married tomorrow, unless you've been dating 10 years. You need to do that today. I have my credentials. I can help you. We can knock that out. That's foolishness. Nobody should say they love you without being fully committed to you. Even when it comes to your kids. Some of you parents, I'm going to say that to you parents, you need to fully love your kids. Fully love them. Let me tell you a secret. Your kids are crazy just like mine. Half the time they don't want to listen to you, and the older they get, the more they ain't going to want to listen to you. They're going to listen to you on their terms, and guess what? If you're a good parent, you will find a way to still give them good advice even when they ain't trying to hear you. I got two types of kids. JJ, let's talk, Dad. Hannah, he go back and forth. Yes. I got another one, Jojo. He be like, I'll be like, Jojo, Jojo, and then you do this. You're not going to say nothing? And that's his. And it bothers me because I want to try to make him be something that he's not, and that's not a good parent. So now I'm learning to go. And it's frustrating. It's like, use words. But that's who he is. That's the kind of person he is. I got Julia. She's like my daughter, right? Beautiful girl. She's going to get married one day, but she likes sneakers like her dad. We go somewhere. We get stuff. We know how to shop on a budget. We get excited. Oh, that's $30 off. Yeah. Then there's Jalen. And she's like, who wants that? I want those over there. You're 9. That's $70. Am I not your daughter? Am I not? Don't you love me? Yeah, I love you, but the $70 is not love. She was like, I know, I'm priceless. You said that in church. For $70. Y'all laughing, but that's how you love your children. My daughter bought an air pump. I said, Jalen, this is how you put the air pump in because I want my daughter to be self-sufficient. She's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting dirty. I just want to ride my bike. I said, so you want me to take the screws off, pump all the air, fix the tire, put the chain back on the tire? She was like, why are we arguing about this? You already know that's what I want. And you know what I did? You getting on my last nerve. Why? Because I'm her father. And I know she's going to want to marry somebody that's going to cater to certain things that I may not want to cater to. So when he comes to her, listen, I pumped air in her tire, you fixed the tire, you changed the tire, because I did the same thing. My daughter likes certain type of J's. She don't want the cheap ones. You can get it at Ross's, but it better be the brand she wants. Hey, my son is quiet, young lady. You want to date him? And he don't talk, so you're going to be married to a mute for a long, long time. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all laughing, but we change our children to try to fit them for what they want us to be. True love is saying, okay, this is who you are, this is how you govern yourself, and this is what it's going to be like. I look at my godson. My godson just like to talk about stuff that makes no sense. He'd be like, did you see that bird? That bird is a different bird. I've never seen a bird like that. Oh, we just passed another bird that's just as different. Did you see that bird? I don't want to talk about another bird. But that's him expressing himself. If I love him, why am I judging him? See, think about this as parents. We try to love our children a certain way. I'm giving you different examples of that different ways because true love requires you to be humble and want your children to grow instead of dictating to them what you want them to become. Now, I'm not talking sexual preference because that's a whole nother conversation. Because I'm going to stand my ground on that. But I'm going to love you regardless. When they get a funky attitude, I'm going to love you regardless. Like I got one that's just overly competitive. If he lose, I got to give him. I got one when he lose, he makes me mad because he's just too happy. He's like, oh, it's a great game. We all fellowship, though. We lost by 30, but it was great. I'm like, no, it's not great. But the other one, he want to tear up, fight everybody, so you just got to put him in a room and let him just get it out of his system. That's all of us have children that are different. All of us have spouses that are different. What I'm trying to challenge you in today is, go back to that slide for me. Love. Are you going to love? And are you going to love unconditionally? When you go to work, you got coworkers who don't know Jesus Christ. They may be your boss, they may be your coworker, but they need love. Some of you got children who haven't been in the house of God in a long, long time, but you need to love them in spite of where they are. And some of you need to learn to let God love you because if God is not properly loving you, you cannot love no one else. The worst thing you could do is love people with the love that you have instead of the love of God. I'm challenging you to get to this place again. This is where we need to be in church. See, the Village Church, that's why we start with that. This is the main goal for everything else. I'm getting back in my lane based on the fact that I'm just saying, you want to deal with that, you deal with that. I want to deal with this. I want to deal with that. I want to deal with that. I want to deal with that. That's my job as a pastor. My job is not to make sure the full budget is right, even though I get to look at it. My job is not to make sure carpet's clean and walls are. That ain't my job. I'm going to check on it, but my main responsibility is to make sure people are being loved. If you're going to clean it with love. And if you're going to have somebody serving with you, serve it with love. We had a deacons meeting. I was like, look, get some of the younger guys to be a part. Teach them how to serve, but love on them because they don't have a lot of father figures around them. And the ones that do have fathers, we want to make sure that they're having a great relationship. There's a lot of single mothers in the room. Are we mentoring their sons? If we're not, what can we do to do that? We're working hard right now on our youth program. Why? Because our church should be a church where your family can be loved. We should go to some of these young men's basketball games and their fathers are not present. I can't be their dad. You can't be everybody's dad, but at least you get to watch a good game. I want to go to an IC Northam game. I like watching IC Northam play. It reminds me of being home in the ghetto because they play like ghetto ball players. They in your face. What? You a bum? Shut up. Ah. Yeah, I love it. My son's a suburban, so I can't enjoy that with them because my son's looking like, why is he yelling like that? It's just so inappropriate. Like, what? What are you talking about? I mean, my son just, you know what I'm saying? I know when my kids grow up, they're going to grow up in a different environment. I was screaming at my son playing ball. He was like, whoa, calm down. I was like, no, I'm not calm. This is what we do. I'm from New York. He's like, we're not in New York. Daddy, we're in Virginia. I don't need to let people know I'm scoring. You don't have to scream at everything. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? Just watch. Why? Does that make him a bad kid? No, that just makes him what he wants from his father when his father support him. So I'm going to be sitting there like, you laughing, but when is the last time your child felt support from you? When is the last time you just told your spouse, I love you just because you are you? You're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I just love you. I argued with my wife when we first got married and didn't feel guilt. Then as I started understanding who God made her to be, how she walked through certain things. The Lord showed me the beauty of my wife when my wife walked my daughter through cancer. Walked my daughter through cancer. I wasn't strong enough. I didn't have it in me. I couldn't handle it. Even now talking about it almost brings me to tears. I could not handle seeing my daughter struggle with dying. And my wife was like, she's going to be healed. This is what God says. This is what we're going to do. And I had to hold my wife's hand to watch my daughter. And our marriage was rocky at that time. I fell more in love with my wife. I said, I don't deserve her. Now I'm in the phase of when I argue now, I'm going, man, I'm messing up. I can't mess up what God has given me as a priceless thing. I may stand my ground on what I believe, but I do understand that this is the person I'm supposed to love. And there's some things I'm never going to change, so I have to just give it to God and move on. That's unconditional love. You might not like it, you might not agree with it, but that's what it is. Your children are not going to do everything you want them to do. Your boss is not going to do everything you want him to do. But do you love him to the point that he knows that you love him? Does she know it? Do your children, do your friends know it? That's my challenge to you today. Come on, stand to your feet with me.